I get so emotional when I'm talking about issues of this country because we had independence since 1957. Do you know how crazy that is? But we keep on doing the same things. We vote a government into power, they can't manage their affairs. IMF. We vote a government into power, they can't manage our affairs. IMF. Why? In 2022, the Minister of Finance made a famous statement that will stick into the hearts of Ghanaians forever. He said, and I quote, "We will not go to the IMF." This was supported by many people from the ruling party, affirming the fact that yes, indeed, we will not go to the IMF. Fast forward 1 year later, we have now agreed a deal with the IMF. Any well-meaning Ghanaian will start to ask, did the finance minister lie to us? Or there were certain circumstances and situations that were happening of which he overlooked for him to make that statement? Well, if you want to find out more, stick to this video. Hello guys, welcome to the Hypercity Review. I'm Ernest. Today we are going to review the IMF deal that was made with Ghana with this document. Please make sure to like and subscribe to get more content like this from this particular channel. Okay, so before I continue, I would like to give a brief history between Ghana and the IMF. For those who don't know, this is about the 18th time we've gone to the IMF, but this is the 7th time we've gone for an extended credit facility program. This particular program consists of a $3 billion deal spread over 36 months, of which 600 million has already been deposited into our accounts. To be honest with you, I became worried when I found out that this was our 18th time we are going to the IMF. I began to ask myself a lot of questions. Questions like, have we consistently or deliberately chose to vote incompetent government into power to rule us? Because to me, my impression of the IMF is that if you are a nation and you can't control your finances, or you just cannot manage your finances as a country, you go to them to get support. I may be wrong or I may be correct, but I believe that the questions are still valid. Let us move on to the causes or the circumstances which have led us to this situation that we are in as a country. Now, for the causes or the circumstances, as I said earlier on, I would want to take it from a political standpoint. That is, looking at the perspective of the ruling government and also the perspective of the opposition. Based on political talk shows and reviews that I've watched over the months, the ruling government seems to have only two causes or two reasons as to why we are in this situation. They always put it on the COVID-19 and also the Russian-Ukraine war. But when it comes to the opposition side of the causes, they will always tell the ruling government that no, it is not because of the COVID-19 pandemic or the Russian-Ukraine war, but it's because of the reckless spending and borrowing of this current government and also gross incompetence. On the subject of excessive borrowing and reckless spending as a cause of the situation we are today, you will attest to the fact that this government has always engaged in activities that tend to consume than to produce a positive ROI. What I mean is that most of the things that this government has done is to put our money into things that consumes more rather than produce a positive ROI, which is a return on investment. And you cannot run a country like that. One of the most significant things that was mentioned in the document was that Ghana's fiscal problems are rooted in structurally weak domestic revenue mobilization in terms of collection of taxes and whatnot. Now, to me personally, I think that my perspective on taxing is going to be the perspective that every average Ghanaian shares, is that we are not gaining value for our money. I will cite one example to you. $3 million was budgeted to renovate the Esipon Stadium in the Western region. The finance minister came to parliament and stated that the renovation of that particular stadium was 90% done. Now, recent articles and videos that popped up showed that what the finance minister said is very inaccurate. We all know the state of roads in our country. You construct a road, 2 to 3 weeks, it starts developing potholes. We have a very bad maintenance culture in our country, but yet still the government expects us to pay taxes. They don't increase salaries, but yet still you tax us. So I think that the average Ghanaian, upon looking on all these things that are happening, will not even have the appetite to pay their taxes. This is not to say that we should not pay our taxes, but I'm just giving you a reality of what you and I are thinking when it comes to the payment of taxes that we are not gaining any benefits from. Let's move on to the expectations. That is what the average Ghanaian is supposed to expect while this deal is going on. In page 17 of the document, it states clearly that there will be an additional quarterly tariff adjustments in 2023. We have already experienced the second quarter increase that was implemented in 1st June. I think that this creates a worry. People will begin to ask themselves, are salaries going to increase? Well, I guess not. One of the things that we should not expect as a country is that we are not going to enjoy or experience instant success as a result of this deal. This is because my basic understanding of this deal is just to help us clean our books, make our books look very healthy financially in order to have access to the international financial markets, for us to have foreign direct investments and also go and borrow more. In light of going back to the international financial markets, I just hope that we don't continue to do the same thing, that is put our money into things that consumes more but produces little to no ROI, and also spending more than we have. These politicians, especially this current ruling government, has taken a lot from us but just have little to show for that. I get so emotional when I'm talking about issues of this country because we had independence since 1957. Do you know how crazy that is? But we keep on doing the same things. We vote a government into power, they can't manage their affairs. IMF. We vote a government into power, they can't manage our affairs. IMF. Why? Salaries are not being increased, but still, day in, day out, new taxes are being introduced into the system. How do you expect someone earning 500 Ghana cedis, 200 Ghana cedis, 300, 400, even 1,000 Ghana cedis to survive? It seems like the politicians or this current government is not really in tune with whatever it is the citizens are facing. They'll come to TV and speak a lot of big English. The market woman that is paying those small tolls and taxes that you are taxing here doesn't even understand this IMF documents. I don't want the video to be long. This is because I believe that you have something very important to do. But I would like to ask you a question. Based on everything that I've said, do you still believe in this country, or do you have hope that this country is going to get better? I hope you enjoyed this review. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, subscribe and share, because I have a lot of content like this just for you. Until then, it's goodbye.